Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Welcome to today's lesson, and the lesson today is the introduction to the 5 fiqh rulings. Okay. Now the 5 fiqh rulings are the rulings concerning the Muslims' worship. Everything in the dunya, everything in the world falls under one of these 5 fiqh rulings, okay, as regards the person's actions. So for example, if I said, what's the ruling of eating? There's a ruling for one of these 5 fiqh rulings. If I said, what's the ruling of getting married? There's a ruling from one of these 5 fiqh rulings. And sometimes a particular action could have more than one fiqh ruling. So for example, marriage could the 5 fiqh rulings all run through marriage. So getting ruling could have different rulings concerning a different person. And all of this, inshallah, will become clearer. The first thing that we're really going to deal with in this lesson as regards to fiqh rulings is the definition, okay? Okay, so we're just going to really deal with the definition anyway, okay? So the fiqh rulings divide into generally into 3 categories. You have we could call them positive, negative, and in the middle. Okay, and there are 2 positive, there are 2 negative, and there's 1 which is in the middle. Okay, neither positive nor negative. Okay, so we will now take the 2 positive. The first one is wajib. Okay, this is the first positive ruling, and the definition of wajib is obligatory. Now, when you look into the books of Usul al-Fiqh, which is what this whole chapter comes under, which Usul al-Fiqh are the fundamental principles of fiqh. You can see from the other lesson that they're the rulings or the fundamentals used to derive fiqh rulings from the Quran and from the sunnah. Okay. When you look at the definition of wajib, you're going to find in Arabic a complete sentence, okay? But I've simplified it and I've just said obligatory because it's the English speaker can understand what wajib means just from the word obligatory, okay? The other positive, I said there were 2 positive. The other positive is mustahab. Now mustahab has other names as well. For example, sunnah and mandub. Okay, so I'll write here sunnah as well because a lot of people understand what that means. Okay, so this is recommended. Okay, so these are the 2 positive. As for the 2 negative, you can probably guess it's the opposite of wajib, which is haram. And you probably already know as well that this is prohibited. And the opposite of mustahab on the negative side is makrooh. Which in English is disliked. And the one which is in the middle is mubaah, which is allowed. It's neither positive or negative, it's just allowed, okay? Now we're going to take, to understand the definition, you need to understand the ruling of the ruling, or what is the result of doing the action, okay? So it's to do with the reward and the punishment, okay? So as for the wajib, there we go. So the wajib, you get rewarded for doing the action and you deserve punishment for leaving it. An example of this could be the 5 daily prayers. So you get rewarded for doing the 5 daily prayers as long as obviously you complete the conditions of them, that you do them with the correct intention, etc. And you deserve punishment for leaving the 5 daily prayers. If we look if you look at the definition as regards rewards and punishment for mustahab, you'll see the difference. So as for mustahab, which is recommended, you get rewarded for doing the action, but you don't deserve punishment for leaving it. So it's not like the wajib in that it's obligatory to do it, but it's better. So it's recommended, it's better to do it, you get rewarded for doing it, but you don't deserve punishment if you leave it. So it's not like the wajib, which you deserve punishment for leaving it. Next is haram. Okay. So haram, you deserve punishment for doing the action. Okay, and if you leave the action, you get rewarded. If you leave it obviously with intention. You don't leave it just because somebody's caught you, but you leave it with intention. So an example of this could be drinking alcohol. You deserve punishment if you drink alcohol, because it's prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you leave drinking alcohol, even though you're capable of doing it, then you get rewarded for leaving it. Okay, so you deserve punishment for doing the action and get rewarded for leaving it. As for makrooh, then the ruling of it is you don't deserve punishment for doing the action and you get rewarded for leaving it. There are many examples of this. An example could be drinking standing up. Okay, even though there's a difference of opinion. But drinking standing up, if you are of the opinion that it's makrooh, that if you drink standing up, you don't deserve punishment for doing it. But if you sit down, you'll get rewarded for it. So it's the opposite of mustahab. It's disliked to drink standing up, but you don't get punishment for standing up. Obviously, if you're of this opinion, and if you sit down, you get rewarded for it. Okay, and as for mubaah, which is the last one, as I said, mubaah is in the middle, and you'll understand why now when you see the ruling for it. So there's no reward or punishment based upon his action or leaving it. An example of this could be wearing socks. Okay, wearing socks, there's no reward for it, for wearing socks, and there's no punishment if you don't wear socks. I mean, it's something in the middle. These things are not worship, but as I said, everything in the world has one of these things. So a lot of things would just be mubaah. It's allowed to do it. There's no reward or punishment linked to it. There's no reward or punishment linked to it. Okay. So these are the 5 fiqh rulings as regards the burdens upon mankind and as regards the actions of mankind, and inshallah we will come to other lessons and we will go into detail into exactly what wajib and obligatory means and how do you know if something, this is a very interesting subject, how do you know if something is wajib from the Quran and the Sunnah, and these things will give us the keys of understanding the Quran and the Sunnah. Okay, wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in.